bizarre. Like, I don't know, I had envisioned like coming into my host family's house and kind of like sitting down all together and just spending a quiet night and getting to know each other and like eating snacks and something like that. And it just was not that. It was just, okay, take him and you go. Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience meeting my host family for the first time. I had a few questions on my Instagram and on some of my previous videos about China about this topic, so I thought I'd just go ahead and tell my story. So the first time, actually my first time meeting my host family was pretty different from most au pairs. My host family happened to be coming to the United States to visit some family that they had that lived here in California. And I live here in California, so of course, if they're going to be so close, I'm going to go and see them. So they kind of told me about how, hey, we're going to be here for the holidays and we'd love to get to meet you if you're interested. And I was like, yes, of course I'm interested. So I talked with my parents and we planned a little weekend trip and we went down to the place they were staying and we met them. So I was really nervous. I didn't know what to say or what I should wear or what I should give them like as a gift to bring, because in Chinese culture when you like go to meet somebody for the first time and you've like arranged to meet them, then it's polite to bring like a small gift. You don't have to, but it's the polite thing to do. So my parents and I were like, well, what should we do? What should we give them? This and that. And we decided to bring them some pastries because we always bake pastries around Christmas, and it was in December that I got to meet them. December of 2017, and I'd be going to live with them in June of 2018. So it was pretty early that I got to meet them, which was cool. So, oh my gosh, I think there's a fly. Oh no. Okay, sorry, distraction. Anyway, so it was actually, yeah, I got to meet them pretty early in advance. Like, I had only started talking to the family in November and then I was meeting them in December, so that was kind of crazy. But it was great. So I ended up, was it actually? Yeah, it was for December. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so I ended up bringing them some pastries and we actually drove directly to their family member's house where they were staying. And I remember being so nervous and just sitting in the backseat of my parents' car thinking like, oh my gosh, I don't know why I was nervous because it's just me and them. It was actually just the mom and the boy, Ethan, that I was going to be living with that were there. The grandma, the ayi, and the ayi is not technically family, and the dad were back home in China, and it was just the mom and the boy who were visiting one of the mom's sisters. So I got to meet her sister's family as well, and we got inside and we sat down and they were so sweet. They prepared this little spread of like fruit and nuts and cookies and tea, and we just sat down and talked a bit. I had brought a book for Ethan to have, like what book was it? The time, I think it was a copy of the Little Prince book, maybe? Actually no, I remember. It was a book of Shel Silverstein poems because I loved those poems when I was his age, so I thought how great would it be to give him the books that I loved reading, and since he needs to practice his English, you know, it's something he can look over. So I gave him that book, and for the family, the parents of the other, okay, so for my host mom's sister's family and for my host mom, I gave them the pastries that we prepared. We brought baklava, which is some of our favorite to make during the holidays, and yeah. So we sat down and we just chatted, and then we ended up going out to dinner, and we planned to go to this one restaurant, but they couldn't accept a party with our size because with my family, my mom, my dad, and me, my host mom, and the Ethan, and then my host mom's family, there was quite a bit of us, so we just decided, okay, like, we'll just go get pizza. So we ended up going to this like almost sports bar like place with all these kids and just sitting down and having pizza, and it was lovely. We just got to chat and talk, and I remember feeling so excited. I even told my host mom, like, I wish I was going back with you now kind of thing. And it made my parents feel a lot better about the situation to get to meet my host mom and her family and just kind of see us interact, and kind of we all felt good about the situation. And then yeah, so that was the very first time that I met them, as far as like, you know, not a Skype call or something, because we did do a few of those beforehand. And the very first time that we Skyped called, oh my gosh, my heart was racing. And it was me and Heidi, the lady. She doesn't, as far as I know, she's not working with the company anymore, Love Au Pair, which was the company that I used, and I'll go ahead and link them down below because they were wonderful. And the host family was there, so it was like a three-way Skype call, and we were just, you know, it was kind of almost like an interview, like, oh, how long can you stay? What are your interests? What did you study in school? You know, this and that, and going through all those things. And then they asked me like, oh, did you do sports? And, you know, just kind of chatting to get to know each other, as well as seeing if we're a good match. And then actually after the first Skype call, the family was like, yeah, she seems good for us. And I was like, oh my gosh, like really already? Because it was just like one call. And then I was like, well, guess it's time to commit. So I just was like, okay. Basically the company contacted me the next day and was like, yeah, the family said they'd love to host you if you're interested. And I had to sit there and go, whoa, okay, wasn't expecting this so quickly, but sure. Yeah, I want to do it, so I did it. Anyway, so let's talk about China. I'm sure everybody is curious about what it was like getting into their home and getting situated for the first time in China. So I remember my trip getting there was crazy. So I flew from San Francisco International Airport to Incheon International Airport in Seoul, Korea. And I had like a 2-hour layover there, and that was so funny because I was so excited to just be in Asia and be somewhere new, and I was also super tired and like I was just like a little bit crazy, and like good crazy. And I remember going around to all the shops, and I video called my friends and I was like, oh my gosh, like they have a Gucci store here, and like, I don't know, it was really funny. Anyway, so I went there, and then from after my layover I actually landed in Hong Kong, which is another international airport. I don't know why I keep bringing that up, but anyway, it was, I landed in Hong Kong, and then I had to, after I landed, I went to grab all my baggage and go through customs again, and then I had to find this shuttle bus company, and it was great. Actually, I'll try to find pictures of what my host, not my host family, what the Love Au Pair company sent me, because they sent me this whole instructions list from the time you get off the plane to getting to the shuttle bus, because that's what I need to do, is take a shuttle bus taxi from Hong Kong to the Chinese border, and then after going through Chinese customs, I'd be picked up by the company and taken to a hotel for the night, because I arrived at like 3 a.m. China time, so it wasn't like I was just gonna go join the family that night, you know. I needed a night to rest and all that. So after I got off the airplane in Hong Kong, I followed the instructions. There was pictures and lists of, okay, go to this place and look for this thing, ask this thing, it's gonna cost you about this much. It was all planned out like perfectly, like no questions asked kind of thing. But you know, after traveling for like 15-20 hours, I was so tired and exhausted and a bit panicked, to be honest, about being in a new place and a new environment, and kind of on my own too in this new place and environment for the first time. So I probably made it harder than it needed to be because I was just a little bit worried, but it was fine. So I ended up finding the place where I needed to buy my ticket for the shuttle bus, and then I remember I had to get on the shuttle bus, and there was all these other people, and when I say all these other people, there's like 5 or 6 other people. I remember at one point we have to give our passport to the driver of the shuttle bus, because you actually go through this part where you just cross over between Hong Kong and China, and at that point they check everyone in the car to make sure that you are who you say you are, and they stamp your passport to say, okay, you're coming into the country. And then you go through customs again once you're in the country, and they don't go through your luggage. Your luggage goes through like security, and they take your fingerprints and they check your eyes and they make sure you are who you say you are and that you have your Chinese visa and that you're all good to go. So I went through that process, and then I finished that process, and I had no Wi-Fi at the time, and I didn't buy a prepaid like international phone plan. I was just gonna get a Chinese phone once I was in China. So I remember I had texted in the Hong Kong airport. I'd sent a picture of what I was wearing. Actually, no, that was in Korea. I'd asked some people like, hey, could you take a picture of me so I can send it to the people picking me up so they know what to look for. And I remember I got to Hong Kong and I sent them a message like, okay, I'm in Hong Kong now. And of course they had my itinerary and everything, and I had been communicating with them. Like I told them when I'd stopped in Seoul, and then I told them, you know, when I got to Hong Kong, and okay, I'm getting on the bus, leaving the airport, I'm not gonna have Wi-Fi now. So then I just had to cross my fingers and hope that the person who was gonna be picking me up was there. And thankfully she was, and it was Ada, and Ada is the best. She's so sweet and cute. And I don't think she's working for the company anymore either, but I tell you, it's a wonderful company. I love this company. Not sponsored, just genuinely they were great. So she picks me up and we take a taxi to the hotel I'm staying in. And I remember, you know, in Chinese hotels as a foreigner, you have to give them their passport again, and they're gonna scan it and take a photocopy of it, I believe, and they put that in. And she took me up to my hotel, she got me settled, and like before we got to the hotel, she picked me up some snacks. She's like, I'm sure you're hungry and maybe you want a snack for when you wake up too. So got some water and some snacks. And she took me to my hotel room, gave me a hug and said, don't open the door until we get here tomorrow morning. And I was like, cool, that's kind of scary, but like, she, you know, just because honestly now I would totally just check into a Chinese hotel on my own, but you know, it was my first night in China. I didn't know the language well, I didn't know the culture as well, you know, I hadn't lived there, been there before. So she was like, you know, just for safety, don't open the door, and we'll be here at 9 AM to pick you up, so get your things ready. And yeah, so I remember just, she left and I just sat on the bed, and it was so hot, and I could hear the cars outside, and it's a huge city. And I actually have a video, I'll try to put it in, from when I like first arrived, and I just sat there like, oh my gosh. Okay, there's this fly, sorry, it really is bothering me. Okay, anyway, I'll ignore it. I remember sitting there and just thinking, oh my gosh, this is, what have I gotten myself into? Like, there's no turning back. Here I am alone in China in a hotel room. I have no idea how to get anywhere, go anywhere from here. I believe the hotel did have Wi-Fi, so I was able to contact my family, contact my friends, and send everyone a message like, hey, I made it, I'm okay. And I just kind of sat there and had this moment of, oh my gosh, this is what I'm doing. I'm 18 years old. I'm alone in China. That feels crazy to me. But it really wasn't that crazy. It was totally fine. So I just took a shower and tried to get some sleep, but my body was not feeling it. So I think I got maybe 2 hours of sleep. So I woke up early. I remember the first week I was in China, I woke up every day at like 5 AM, just naturally, because my body wasn't adjusted. And then it was like 6 AM, 7 AM, and then I started waking up between 7:30, 8 AM. Anyway, TMI. So I got ready, I got all cute because I wanted to feel cute, and then Heidi picked me up in the morning, and her and I went to go have breakfast, and then I went to the Love Au Pair office to sign some more paperwork, as well as get to know the office, get to know the people, and kind of have like an orientation meeting about, okay, here's your expected rules as an au pair, here's what the parents are expecting you to teach, here is what they're expecting you to do, and here's how much free time you'll have, here's the boys' schedule, the family schedule, ideas on what you can do together, things like that. And that took like almost all day, just getting prepared and ready. So it wasn't like they just shove you in with your host family. They give you some time to get acclimated. They teach you some differences between Western and Chinese culture. They have this whole slideshow PowerPoint thing. It was super great. So then Heidi and I ended up going to eat lunch together, and then we just spent some more time at the office doing some of that kind of stuff. And then I remember it was getting later and she'd heard from my host mom, and my host mom was like, yeah, we're ready to have her now. And I was like, okay. So I got, like, I don't know, I was already ready. I had all my stuff. It was just like, get ready. So Heidi and I got in a taxi just because at that point it was easier. But when I was in China, I only really used the metro. I maybe used a taxi like 2 or 3 times. But yeah, we got in the taxi, we got to my host family's house. Well, we got to the street, like across the street from my host family's house. And we had all my luggage and we were like running around trying to find it because Heidi didn't know the exact address. Like she had it, but she like was trying to find where it was because, you know, all these high skyrise apartments, and it's not like, you know, you can just, there it is, you know, you have to find the building, find the section of the building. There's like an A, B, C, D, E, you know, because they're huge. And I lived in like, well, I won't say, but it was like a B something, B11 or something like that in a building. And anyway, so we get into the building, we have to go through the doorman, explain who we are, why we're here, and he's like, okay, come on in. And then we go into the, I remember we're getting into the elevator and my chest was just like, oh my gosh. And we get up there and we get to the house, and the mom's there, the grandma's there, IU's there, and Ethan is there, but the dad was at work. And they all welcome me in, but my host mom and my grandma, well, Nine is what I called her, were like about to leave to go somewhere. So basically the host mom was like running around, rushing to go do some things, and I was like, okay. So they like show me to my room, they put my stuff there, and they're like, are you hungry? You must be hungry. And I'm like, I'm really not hungry, I just ate. And they're like, well, you must be hungry, so go downstairs with the boy and eat. So I was like, okay. So basically my host mom gives me some money to take I thought I was taking the boy to go eat too, but he had already eaten. And it was just me, and it was so awkward, and I was felt so weird because all this, she and the grandma were like leaving, and I was just me and the boy. Heidi had been like, okay, you know, we sat down for probably like 10-15 minutes talking all together, and then Heidi had left, and it was just me and the host boy going downstairs because underneath where we lived was like a huge shopping mall, so there was like Starbucks as well as a bunch of Chinese restaurant chains and shopping mall, grocery store, everything just like literally on the first floor of where we lived. And then the second floor was actually like the garden-y, outside-y, nice area. And yeah, the boy and I just went and got some food and just sat there, and it was just him and I alone. And I tried to make conversation, and he was really friendly and outgoing, but it was so bizarre. Like, I don't know, I had envisioned like coming into my host family's house and kind of like sitting down all together and just spending a quiet night and getting to know each other and like eating snacks and something like that. And it just was not that. It was just, okay, take him and you go. And then, yeah, so the next morning I woke up pretty early again, like 5 a.m. and I kept kind of like peeking out the room to see if anybody was awake, but nobody was awake yet. So I just stayed in my room and unpacked my things, and then when I heard noise and people getting up, I came out, and IU was cooking breakfast, and my host parents were just sitting on the couch watching TV, and Ethan was like, I think he was reading or something. So I came out, and then we had breakfast together, and then from there on out it kind of was more of what I expected, the talking, getting to know each other, hanging out, going and doing activities. But I just remember the first night was so not what I expected at all. I did bring some gifts for my host family. I brought Ethan some Lego toy sets because I remember when I'd met him in America that he had liked the Lego toys, so I just brought him some, as well as I brought some for his cousins because he was very close with his cousin. He even had one of them lived in the same apartment building upstairs. So family is very important to most Asian cultures, Chinese especially, from what I observed. So it's very important that if you are going to bring gifts, you bring a gift for everybody in the home. And even if you know that they have some close family that's not going to be living with them, but you're going to meet, it would be polite to also bring gifts. But it's not expected, especially if you're a foreigner. It's just something that would be like a kind, polite thing to do. So for the parents, I had brought some like American chocolates. I mean, America's not really known for chocolates, but there's this like, it's in San Francisco, it's this company, what is it called? Why am I forgetting? It starts with a G, I can't remember. Oh, Ghirardelli. So I brought some Ghirardelli chocolates, and I also brought some candles from Bath and Body Works. And that's all I brought. And I brought one for the grandma, one for the host parents, and some for their other family members to share. Honestly, I would just recommend, if you're going to China and you know you're going to be meeting some people that like you want to make a good impression with, I would just bring some things like bags, like little gift sets or little chocolates or things like that that you can just have on the ready to give to people when you see them, because it's just part of the culture is like to give. And like if you don't have anything, but say you wanted to give a gift, you can always go and pick up some like oranges or some it doesn't have to be anything big. It can be some fruit. Fruit's a big thing to give, and could be, you know, just something like that they'd appreciate. Yeah, so that is pretty much, I have been talking for way too long now, but that is pretty much the experience that I had meeting my host family for the first time and when I first got to China, and I hope you enjoyed. If you guys have any more questions or would like to know more about China, go ahead and leave your questions in the comments and I'll try to do my best to answer them. Also, I know a lot of people have questions about visas, so I've thought about making a video about that. So if you guys would like to see a video about that, go ahead and leave a like and comment, and I will do my best to, like I said, answer those questions. Okay, thank you guys for watching.